Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and my question to you today is, what is your least favorite decade of Doctor Who? Not that you necessarily think it's bad, but just your least favorite. I think this is a difficult question because I feel like that's going to vary depending on what all encompasses that. Oh man, nope, we're going to have to start over. Encompasses, that's that. I cannot, Some days, boy, Ringo Starr was right, it don't come easy. Encompass, like a compass. I've got a compass. Encompasses. Nope, it's not happening today. I'm gonna have to find another word for that. Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today my question to you is, what do you think is the worst decade of Doctor Who? And to be fair, that doesn't necessarily mean that you think the decade is bad, just what you think is the worst decade of Doctor Who since its inception. So we'll be looking at the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and the 2020s. Which one do you think is the worst? Now that, to me, is going to vary drastically depending on what you exactly mean with that statement, what all that encapsulates. For instance, are you just talking about the TV show? Or are you talking about any kind of story that came out? Or are you talking about everything, even including media? Because I think some of the people who watch my channel would immediately jump to the 2020s, let's be honest, some of you would. But if we're just talking about the TV show, or even maybe new stories, Big Finish, expanded media, it still might say the 2020s, but if we talk about media in general, we have to keep in mind most of the collection sets have come out in the 2020s. So if we include media releases, like the collection sets, can you still say the 2020s is the worst? Because these are great. But if you're just talking about stories, say the TV show, the TV movie for the 90s, Big Finish, and maybe fan films and spinoffs, that's different. I feel like the answer to that question is going to vary on what all parameters are involved. You know, the 2010s and the 2020s have been very good to Doctor Who for home media, with the animations coming out, with the collection set coming out, with the steelbooks coming out. If those are factored in, it makes it harder to pick one of those decades. For example, I might be more fond of the 2020s than I am, say, of the 90s if we factor in the collection sets. Because I love the collection sets and updated effects that we have gotten in those sets. Or the steelbooks. You guys know I love the steelbooks. Some of the audio stories that have come out in the 2020s or the 2010s. Now, I think if we were to include all that, I'd probably say the 90s was the weakest for me. I love the TV movie, and I love some of the spin-off stuff that came out and some of the short stories and stuff like that. But I just feel like it's more bare bones than the others if we look at all of that. Now, if we're just looking at, not media, but just stories, like, books, TV show, Big Finish, all of that, I think it's between the 90s and the 2020s. I could definitely argue the 2020s because Doctor Who, just the quality of the show itself, I feel like has gone down. And this is someone who found most of Season 2 enjoyable up to the crap finale. B-tier enjoyable. Season 1 was a bit of a mixed bag. There's some good seasons in there. Flux is pretty terrible, but has a couple good episodes, and even the bad episodes have a couple strong moments. Series 12 was pretty consistently good until... I can't remember if Series 12 was 2019 or 2020, I'll be honest with you. I think it was 2020. No, I think it was 2019. But it was pretty consistently good until the ending. So I guess if that was 2019, it'd be part of the 2010s. But, I'm not the biggest fan of Gatwa or Whittaker's Doctors. Their companions have varied. Some have been good, some have not. And again, the writing hasn't been S tier very often for me, or even A tier very often for me. Some solid B tier stuff. Whereas the TV movie, while being flawed, is very good. You have a very enjoyable Doctor. I like Eric Roberts as the Master. I like Grace as the companion. And I enjoy the unique feel and look of the 90s TV movie. I find it very enjoyable. And I enjoy some of the Big Finish from back then. Sword of Orion's really good. Storm Warning's really good. Stones of Venice is not good. So it's not perfect either. I can't remember. I think Shada actually came out in the 2000s, didn't it? The 8th Doctor version of Shada. I don't remember when Chimes of Midnight came out. I guess that's the 2000s. Is that the 90s? I forget. It's really good either way. So for me, it's basically between the 90s and the 2020s. And that's going to boil down to what the parameters are for that statement. In terms of television and stories, especially liking some of the spin-off stuff, Downtime's enjoyable. It's not great. It makes some decisions I don't care for. It's not something I'd go back and rewatch anytime soon. But it was enjoyable enough. I still need to see the Auton trilogy. I did like the Return to Devil's End. That was really fun. I don't know if I've watched a lot of the other spin-off stuff. It's really hard between the 90s and 2020s. Because I love the 60s. I love the 70s. The 70s are the greatest decade of Doctor Who to me. I love the 70s. Strong doctors, strong writing, strong producers, strong script editors. Just banger after banger after banger. A lot of the best seasons in all of Doctor Who. The 80s are good. They have their flaws and their ups and downs. But overall, very good decade. And then I think the 2000s are a strong start. The first half, you have some good animation stuff, some good Big Finish stuff. And then the modern series was at its peak there, I think, story-wise in the 2000s. The 2010s are pretty solid, kind of a mixed bag, but you still got some really good stuff in there as well. So I would say, for me, it's a battle between the 90s and the 2020s for the weakest. I could see an argument either way. That's really hard for me to pick between, and again, would just include what all parameters we're talking about. In terms of just not talking about the collections or the steelbooks or all that, just talking about terms of story quality, I still probably would need to see more from the 90s. I still need to watch the Auton trilogy at some point. I think it's supposed to be good. Yeah, I need to do that. So yeah, for me, I would say either the 90s or the 2020s. Probably the 2020s, despite having some good stories in there. Just because I will take Paul McGann's Doctor over Whittaker and Gatwa's Doctor any day. Any day. So I want to know what you would say. What do you think is the weakest decade in all of Doctor Who? The worst decade of all of Doctor Who? Your least favorite decade of all of Doctor Who? As those could all be technically different things. Comment down below and let's talk about it. I personally think the weakest would probably be considered the 2020s, because look at the state the show is in now. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button as well. I also have a Patreon if you'd like to support me on that. There's a link to that down there. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Colin Coney, Sam Venning, Unknown289, and Androzani Major. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons and my YouTube members. Very much appreciated. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review. Link to the Amazon wishlist is down there. Link to the Amazon UK wishlist is down there as well. Most importantly, thank you for watching.